Hi folks, I'm Woody. Welcome back to the shed and the second instalment of my Minisport mod series, where we take a look at some small changes to the SD1 design that I've incorporated. Last time we looked at converting the cockpit to give a lot more fresh air. This might not be possible in some places due to regulations, or you might just not want to have the option. That doesn't get away from the fact that it can get hot and uncomfortable under the closed hood, and the ventilator in the canopy frame isn't very big or I think particularly effective. So some help to keep the dude in the cockpit feeling as well as looking really cool is needed. We'll come to that in a minute or two, but first, in some more completely irrelevant flying movie, a short flight to the seaside and back. I said before that I'd invested in a 360 camera and I'd hoped to produce some interesting angles with it, but I haven't had a lot of success with it yet. Basically, the software that comes with it isn't particularly user-friendly and it doesn't work very well with the computer that I have. So I put it on the shelf for a while and tried something else. I have done some experiments with a carbon fibre pole, which is an extendable selfie stick really, under the wingtip, and attached the cheap action camera to it. The results aren't too bad, although at speeds above 80 knots and on the ground it vibrates quite a bit. Lots of potential though, and you can see the shadow of the setup in some of the shots. Now, as I said, and it's just my opinion, the cockpit ventilation needs some adjustment. I began with increasing the input to the knacker duct by fitting a scoop, or a flap if you like, to the design to capture a little more air. The design's based on those using glider canopies and is simply a spring-loaded plate that flips into the airstream when the slider's pulled back. The spring's under the flap where the rivet head is. To provide even more air, there's an intake on the fuselage side. The external scoop's an aluminium intake fairing from a Harrier GR3, and the rest of the bits are a 45-degree angled piece of plastic plumbing and a dashboard air vent from a kit car. A small bit of plumbing pipe was cut to fit under the fairing to better direct the incoming air into the fuselage, and the air vent's placed within easy reach without having to unstrap to get to it. So that takes care of cool air to the cockpit, but for those of us who live at the same latitude as Moscow, like I do, some extra warmth in winter, in fact most of the year, and the other seasons for that matter, is welcome. Cockpit heat for most light aircraft is achieved by drawing air from somewhere on the engine exhaust. I experimented with a few ideas to do that, and early designs were made up with pieces of scrap and scaffolding tubes. A friend donated a RANS RV6 heat muff kit, which allowed me to make a fairly neat airbox jacket to fit around the exhaust muffler, and I made a control valve out of aluminium tube and some newfound welding skills. The valve's operated by a cable, and the heat to the cockpit is variable and instantaneous. I originally put a gauze matrix inside the jacket, thinking that the increase in surface area would provide more heat, but it turned out to be unnecessary and just dead weight. The inlet sits happily between the rudder pedals and represents minimal extra weight for the comfort it provides. It also acts as an excellent demister for those cold, wet winter days when otherwise I get wet gloves trying to dry the canopy enough to see out of it. So that's my quick slideshow and solutions for keeping warm and staying cool. I hope you found them useful and will come back soon to see the next instalment when we'll look at fitting a do-it-yourself carb heater and some suggestions for mounting cameras on the aircraft. I'm Woody, and bye for now.